Good morning, everyone. I'm doing this video to show you what I do with things that I find at like thrift stores or driftwood walking along the lake out by my sister's house. This is just to give you some ideas of stuff to do with just junk that you find. I found this old shoe stretcher at the thrift store, and I got it for 50 cents. I brought it home, cleaned it up, re-stained it, and here's what I use it for. I flip it up, and I take some old vintage books and make book holders out of it for my coffee table. Looks really cool. Another thing that I do is any of these old clocks in the glass domes, I buy every one that I come across, and I'll show you in a minute why I buy all of them. This is a ash pan. They used to use them for taking ashes out of the wood stove or the fireplace to dump outside, and I got that one for, I think it was $2, and I made a plant holder out of it. Okay, driftwood, what I usually do with it is I found this piece a while back, and it just kind of looked like lightning to me. So I brought it home, scrubbed it up, sealed it, re-stained it, hung it on the wall, and put a ship on it because it just reminded me of lightning. And this chair, it was just broke up and gaudy, and it's an antique chair. Has the old brass turns in the back of it. It had like a yellowish cotton bottom on it, and which was all the way to the floor. I bought it for $1, brought it home, took it apart, scrubbed it down, re-stained it, and redid the seating and the back. And what I did is I bought a leather suitcase at the thrift store for $1, brought it home, cut all the leather off from it, and that's what I recovered the chair in. So that's good leather. This old sewing machine cabinet here, a lady had it out in her front yard, and it was just sitting there rotting away. It had turned all the way gray. I bought it from her, brought it home, sanded it down, completely redone it, and made a desk out of it. Another idea that I do is I use old books under my trinkets for like under the lamps, stuff like that. Another piece of driftwood. Sorry about that, my camera died. This is another piece of driftwood that I brought in and redone. Cut the bottom off and put it on a stand just to make like a decoration out of it. Okay, here's a bunch of driftwood, just pieces that I picked up and re-stained and redone because I needed something to fill in all that space up there. So that's where I stuck those. And in the dining room, I buy up old picnic baskets, just any kind of wicker basket, stuff like that to fill up that space up there. I think out of all of those pieces, I might have a total of $10 up there out of all the parts that I bought. I buy just any kind of blue plate, anything to do with close to like blue willow, stuff like that to decorate that with. And my plants, I don't know if you can see it very good because of the window. This plant here, I don't know if you can even see it. It's, oh my gosh, 26 years old. I cut it back every year and it grows about 14 feet a year. I haven't cut it this year at all. But anyway, this was a piece of driftwood. This is a piece of driftwood that I found out by the lake at my sister's house. And I got it and redone it, and I kept figuring out what I could do with it. I brought it home, trimmed it up, cleaned it, restained it, because I just loved the way it looked. It was just all grown in, all crooked and everything. So I cleaned it up, redone it, and the only thing that I did was stuck a staple right there. And the reason I did that is because I trimmed it to where it would sit up straight. Then I went and bought a dish that would fit right in it like that. Make a candy dish, a change dish, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it works for me. All of my vintage canning jars I put up here. I wanted to show you my angel wing begonia. It finally bloomed this year. I've had it about 4 years, and this is the first year it's bloomed. I found these frames at the thrift store for $1 a piece. They're huge. They're like 2 foot by 3 foot frames. So I bought them, and then I come home and I found pictures on the internet, and I printed them out in black and white and put them in the frames, and then I made 2 smaller ones. So that worked pretty well. But anyway, this was a early 1970s silk scarf that I found. It's a lady's scarf, and what I did is I framed it and I put a blue cloth behind it. It's Italian scene, I think it's Italian anyway. But anyway, I framed the scarf, silk scarf, and I just thought it was beautiful. Okay, this is what I do with the old clocks that I buy. I take the guts out of the middle of them, and I use them to put vintage items in them, like the 3 trolls from the early 80s. 1976 Sylvester piggy bank, and in this one I've got a 1972 rubber Mickey Mouse, and 1990 the 7 Dwarfs from Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I always collect stuff for the kitchen, and this is vintage items. Like these are dough mixers, and I went from wooden all the way to the newest ones. And there's Julienne, I think it's called Julienne, something like that. Julienne, tomato slicer, knife sharpener, potato ricer, Julienne, a church key. Just every little thing I can. Can anybody tell me what this is? Does anybody know what that is? an old mixer, an old potato masher, but anyway, that's my collection of stuff that I pick up and I just keep and pin it on the wall somewhere. And you guys have a good day. Bye.